Welcome as we enter more deeply into the energies of Capricorn in this year of the Conclave 2025. Let's begin today with the pledge made by the disciple to the soul. I pledge myself to the path of love. I demand of my soul that I, the spirit in form, shall act as a channel of compassion and an instrument of love until I know myself to be love itself. I am that love. With pure intent I serve. To this in knowledge full I pledge myself. Capricorn, an earth sign, grounding us at the base of the mountain. And for those who choose to climb to the summit along the path of initiation. Integrating what we have learned from Master Dwal Kul regarding esoteric astrology, let us remind ourselves today that he says, I cannot too strongly repeat that esoteric astrology is entirely concerned with the forces and energies which affect the consciousness aspect of the human being and condition the personality life. This is the point which must be considered above all else. In other words, esoteric astrology is concerned with the soul and not with the form. And therefore, all that I have to say refers to consciousness, to its expansion, to its effect upon its vehicles, the form, and in the last analysis, as will be later established, with the science of initiation. We're given this schematic by Master Dwal Kul, relating and demonstrating to us the different relationships from above the highest points. In this case, beginning with understanding that the great lives, the transcendent lives, that life stream comes from one of the 7 stars of the Great Bear and one of the 7 rays, moving through and transmitting through 3 constellations. In the sign of Capricorn, there are 2 constellations that are also bringing this great life into relationship with the sun, transforming the sun, and into and through 7 sacred planets, 3 of which directly transfigure the energies to the earth. And we've learned that what's involved is what DK calls the secret of translation, the elevating power of aspiration. And in this year, the year of the conclave, 2025, this has particular importance for us all. For the Earth is a non-sacred planet. The Earth, as recipient of this power, the elevating power of aspiration, allows all of us to be part of this great transmutation, the process of transmutation of the forces that flow from the sacred planets into the Earth and into each and every soul and form. Martine.
Master Dvarakul says, "Let me pause a moment here to point out that in this study of the triangles, it is not possible for us to do more than study certain of the major groups of triangles, and a few of the most important triangles where humanity itself is concerned. It is of value for a human being to realize that there are other evolutions and other forms of logoic expression of equal importance to their own. There is in truth a veritable multiplicity of triangles. For the triangle is the basic geometric form of all manifestation, and it is to be seen by those who have eyes to see, underlying the entire fabric of manifestation, whether it is the manifestation of a solar system, the manifestation of a zodiacal round, the cosmic triplicities, or the tiny reflection of this divine triple whole which we call man. When the human being is manifest, but is not yet truly manifested, the triangles which symbolize this manifestation are the two eyes and the third eye. 1. The right eye, the eye of Buddhi, of wisdom and of vision. 2. The left eye, the eye of mind, of the common sense and of sight. 3. The eye of Shiva, the all-seeing eye, the eye which directs the will and purposes of deity. These three are in reality 1. The eye of the Father, carrying light from the Great Bear, Capricorn, and the planet Saturn. 2. The eye of the Sun, carrying light from Sirius, Leo, and the Sun veiling Neptune. 3. The eye of the Mother, carrying light from the Pleiades, Taurus, the planet Venus. And it is the latter light energy which is necessarily peculiarly active when the sign of Taurus is dominant in any planetary and individual horoscope.
So we will consider in greater depth as we move forward together the science of triangles. And if you recall from our last meeting, the emphasis of the second and fifth ray of Venus in this time as we move forward together, humanity as a whole, but particularly those in the new group of world servers, using the virtues of the second ray and the fifth ray to develop tolerance, Maybe the most important statement within this particular teaching from Master Dewal Kul. When the human being is manifest, but is not yet truly manifested, the triangles which symbolize this manifestation are the two eyes and the third eye. So it is this realization that in working with the triangle of the two eyes and the third eye, it's a reflection of that which is manifest but not yet truly manifested. So in Capricorn, consider your auras, the aura, and the interconnected auras. And just a reminder for us as we progress together using occult meditation.
A. Know thyself. B. Proceed slowly and with caution. C. Study effects. D. Cultivate the realization that eternity is long, and that that which is slowly built up endures forever. E. Aim at regularity. F. Realize always that the true spiritual effects are to be seen in the exoteric life of service. G. Remember likewise that psychic phenomena are no indication of a successful following of meditation. The world will see the effects and be a better judge than the student himself. Above all, the master will know, for the results on causal levels will be apparent to him long before the man himself is conscious of any progress.
So we meet every week aiming at regularity. Which of these instructions or pieces of advice do you find yourself resonating with the need to fully embrace as we move forward together in Capricorn? Using meditation 5, we have the opportunity to study effects. So let's align our centers as Master DK reminds us so often to do. We're aligning from our point in evolution with the rays in our makeup, active and influencing the current state of integration, using the words of the disciple Roberto Assagioli, affirming silently but with the highest aspiration and the highest intention, I have a body, I am not my body. I have emotions, I am not my emotions. I have a mind, I am not my mind. I am the soul. Now we sense this soul contact and send a line of lighted energy to the heart center of our serving group, those assembled today, and expand that light as we see all those serving with us, sending their lines of lighted energy to the heart center of all our serving groups, each one in a circle of light, illuminating the group field of service and sound as a soul.
Phrase 1 for the mind. Like a golden butterfly which flies in the face of the sun, I find myself poised upon the lotus petal of the earth. I hover, I stay a little moment, and then I fly into the golden pathway that leads unto the sun. Phrase 2 for the emotional nature. There is no darkness and no fog. There is no night or day. There are no storms, no peace. Phrase 3 for the physical body. Down from the mountain top I come, bringing the light of life, the life of light. Into the chalice of the form, I pour that light which life confers, this life which light sustains. I see this golden light transform the darkness into day. I see the blue of life divine pour through the form, healing and soothing. Thus is the task performed. Thus is the man of earth transformed into a son of God. Discipleship in the New Age for DIJ. Divine Intelligence, Impersonality, Joy.
I am one with my group brothers, and all that I have is theirs. May the love of the one soul pour forth to all. May the energy of the one soul lift and aid all. May the thoughts which the soul creates reach and encourage all. May the energy of the divine self be spread abroad in our hearts, through our groups, and throughout the world.
We've been using occult meditation for some time in our service projects and study, and will continue in the coming year to build upon our progress, bringing the etheric body with its various force centers into such a condition that it could become receptive to impression and cooperate thereafter actively. Through the alignment exercises, we've endeavored to bring that organized instrument of service, the integrated personality, into contact with the source of inspiration and the source of impression, that is the ashram and the soul. And now we're in a position, theoretically at least, and dependent individually, upon the successful action of all work previously done to begin the task of bringing through the inspiration and impression consciously by determined contact with their sources. So we move forward, merging and blending our individual progress in group formation using a review of Meditation 4, and we'll move into the application of Meditation 5.
Let us align and sound a statement to the personality made by you, the soul, the disciple. In the center of the will of God I stand. Naught shall deflect my will from His. I implement that will by love. I turn towards the field of service. I, the triangle divine, work out that will within the square and serve my fellow men.
Very rapidly, holding the consciousness steadily in the mind and not in the head. Pause to do that. Focus in the mind. With immediate mental focusing at the very beginning of this meditation work, we enter into the stage of recognition. We recognize our pledged discipleship. We recognize our equipment gratefully rendered. We recognize our achieved alignment. We recognize the soul, the source of love wisdom. We recognize the hierarchy. It's helpful to be reminded by creating in the mind the highest planetary triangle, uniting will, love, wisdom, and intelligence. Shambhala, as a state of consciousness or a phase of sensitive awareness wherein there is acute and dynamic response to divine purpose, a response made possible by the synthesis of purpose and of spiritual relationship which exists between those who are associated with Sanat Kumara. The council chamber. Hierarchy. The hierarchy standing as the mediating transmitter between humanity and the will of God. In the center of the will of God we stand. The revelation of the true significance and purpose of that will as it stands behind all world events is needed now, DK tells us, as never before. And this can come through a closer relation between the hierarchy and humanity. So we hold this great planetary triangle, these energies uniting will, love, wisdom, and intelligence above all the triangles that we utilize in our work and service together. Next, we enter into the stage of consideration, quickly and easily and fluently considering the ashram as a whole, the hierarchy as the ashram of Sanat Kumara, using the creative imagination, seeing all the ashrams in close contact with Shambhala. These ashrams, many now use the term the ashram of synthesis, responsive to the purpose, implemented by the ashrams of the Chauhans. Impressed by the energy of will as the great ashram energizes its component parts within its periphery of influence, thus vitalizing the initiates and disciples who are affiliated with the masters and working in the ashrams of the masters. The 3 ashrams of the Chauhans into the 7 ashrams, the Ray-affiliated ashrams of the masters, and into the 49 ashrams, reaching out through the accepted and pledged disciples into the world of men. Pause and realize, recognize the influence and our relationship to this great ashram, as well as our affiliated ashramic connectivity as individuals. And we say with purpose and determination, I strive towards comprehension. Thy will, not mine, be done. Next, we consider the world of souls, which is the hierarchy in relation to humanity, the hierarchy, the great transmitter. And in this first stage of consideration that we found in relation to Shambhala, the one synthetic ashram, we determine what needs to be studied in terms of the nature of the hierarchical effort that is expressed through love. We consciously identify with the plan, and we dedicate to the work originating in this ashram with which we know ourselves to be in touch, seeing it all as an integral part of the hierarchical work. Again, we do this quickly, easily, and with an increasing fluency. Pause to integrate this into your very being. And we say together with love and aspiration, we strive towards understanding. Let wisdom take the place of knowledge in our group life. DK reminds us of the will to love. He says it is, in other words, the loving intention to fire the entire world with the new idea of the spirit of relationship. Thus, we integrate all of our work into our better understanding of this science of relationships. This fire is not what we think it is. The will to love means the love of the greater whole and the ability to do that which is needed for the good of the group in the right way and with the needed skill in action. We follow these occult meditations in order to build our ability to express this will to love. It involves the capacity for firm action where need arises because the disciple and the discipleship groups have a long-range vision, and we are not misled by the immediate perspective. We work and prepare for the future. Andrea.
In Capricorn, as we develop intuitive perception, we confirm the strength I touch and am, that strength I give. The central light I reach so oft, I pass along the lighted way to those who need that light. I seek to walk the ways of men as light and love and power. My strength and power come from the secret place, and much I know. I live for others and must learn to lose myself in them. Incarnation, individualization, reorientation, initiation.
Let us endeavor in Capricorn to develop this strength each day and in all of our activities, so that we can pass along the lighted way to those who need that light. Capricorn gives us the opportunity to develop this strength and power of the first ray and merge and blend that power and light developing tolerance and strength. And with meditation 5, to be the recipient of impressions. So the light of the personality and the light of the soul blend. Master DK says upon this, he does not need to enlarge, as nothing that he could say would be more than it now is, the theory of initiation. It takes place upon the path of initiation and is called the experience of the mountaintop. Yet all are needed, the depths, the plains, and the mountaintop. Quickly, the third stage of consideration. Let's consider our group as a unit in Master Dwal Kul's ashram, and our group as a bridge to the world of men. We recognize the aspect of the planned work we are equipped to do. We determine how to do it, and we consider the factor of preparation for initial and eventual initiation as a means of increasing our capacity for hierarchical cooperation. The words of the first stanza of a great invocation may be useful at this stage of consideration. Do you have that fully present in your own mind? That the forces of light bring illumination to humanity. Let the spirit of peace be spread abroad. May those of goodwill everywhere meet in the spirit of cooperation. May forgiveness on the part of all be the keynote at this time. Let power attend the efforts of the great ones. So let it be, and help us to do our part. Energizing by light, faith, love, and power, the spiritual center within which we serve, and the ashramic projects for which we accept responsibility. Bring into your mind those ashramic projects that you are now affiliated with, bringing all those into the circle of our group work. Bringing the strength and courage, that spiritual courage needed in order to move forward with skill in action. And then say, as a pledge, I strive towards cooperation. Let the master of my life, the soul, and likewise the one I seek to serve, throw light through me on others. In meditation 4, we're asked to discern the difference among purpose, will, and intention. In Capricorn, we bring this will to the fore. We will bring that will into the intention to serve in Aquarius and to sacrifice in Pisces. The will is fundamentally an expression of the law of sacrifice. Paradoxically, Tuolkul says, we found that when the spiritual will was, even in a small measure, expressing itself, there was no such thing as sacrifice as we know it to be as individuals. Incidentally, we considered the great exponents in the great field of sacrifice, considering the great life in which we all, as well as all other forms, live and move and have our being. So understanding the differentiation, purpose, will, and intention, we take ourselves to the level of understanding in some way the purpose. DK tells us in this particular excerpt more in relation to this and what we have worked on in using the technique of glamour, dissipation of glamour, the technique of light, the triple light. Catherine.
It is therefore largely a matter of perfecting the mechanism of the brain so that it can rightly register and correctly transmit the soul impressions and the group purposes and recognition. This involves 1. The awakening into conscious activity of the center between the eyebrows, called by the Oriental students the Ajna Center. Ajna Center, humanity, fifth ray, fifth root race, intuition. The goal, the energy of initiation, development of inclusiveness. 5 centers are rapidly awakening. The focal point of personality, the human kingdom, the 4th kingdom in nature. 2, the subordinating then of the activity of this center to that of the head center, so that the 2 vibrate in unison. This produces the establishment of 3 things. Direct conscious alignment between soul, mind, brain. The appearance of a magnetic field, which embraces both the head centers and so definitely affects the pineal gland and the pituitary body. The recognition of this field of dual activity in 2 ways is of a light in the head, an interior radiant sun, or as a dynamic center of energy through which the will or purpose aspect of the soul can make itself felt. 3, the development of a faculty which will enable a man to use the mind in any direction she or he chooses, turning it externally towards the world of phenomena or internally towards the world of spiritual being. Produce consciously and at will a corresponding responsiveness in the physical brain so that it can register accurately any information coming from the physical world and the emotion or astral world. Discriminate intelligently between all these spheres of sentient activity.
So we've utilized meditation 4 to achieve the alignment necessary, and we have practiced the technique of light and developed the ability to use the will, that spiritual will, individually in relation to the dissipation of individual glamour, and as a group in the dissipation of group glamour, so that we are poised now to rightly register and correctly transmit the soul impressions and the group purposes and recognitions. Next week, we'll look in greater depth at this interrelationship with the Ajna Center and our use of the Ajna Center in both the practice of healing, radiatory healing, and in the development of an opening of the centers along the path of initiation as those triangles of centers, the 5 centers rapidly awakening. Thank you for being with us. And we will see you next week, Andrea. So think about the ways in which we can work together to develop these impressions and transmit them. And in meditation 4, we use the mantra of the will, stating to the group personality and the statement by you as the soul and the disciple as a group member. And understanding the distinction among purpose, will, and intention. Purpose itself only being an energy that is released within the confines of the council chamber. This occurring at the time of the conclave. This is where purpose takes place, where it is passive. And all those above the fourth initiation participating relates to the light upon the path that will then be expressed through the conclave as the will being active. We'll have particular emphasis as it is expressed on the astral plane, relating many to the second initiation and concerning the heart center of our planetary logos, the hierarchy, the advancing point of light. Embodying ideas as that point of tension, orientation, implacable determination, then we stand with an ability to wait and preserve our intention and orientation unmoved by anything that may occur. Involving the creative nature of our group activity, all based on loving understanding. And precipitating at the right moment using right timing. Or at that exact moment that the soul determines to be correct. From this stage of fixed determination, in meditation 4, we bring together the power of the integrated 3 lower bodies, physical, etheric, astral, emotional, mental, to the mind, in the integrated personality, aligned with soul, bringing that all into active determination to, in meditation 5, bring in impressions. Martine.
Every externalized ID is possessed of form, animated by desire, and created by the power of the mind. The desire plane is the one upon which the mind imposes its conceptions in order to produce the ID incarnate, to clothe the ID in form. It is therefore the gestation ground. The mind previously has been the recipient of the archetypal ID, has grasped and visualized by the soul. In its turn, the soul is the recipient of the formula as presented to it in the world of ideas. You have thus the presented idea, the perceived idea, and the formulated idea, and the idea working out into manifestation.
So consider as we move forward with the first word given to us for consideration in Meditation 5, recipient. And as we've mentioned before, these ideas are usually contacted at first in the form of vague perceptions or remote prophecies. Oftentimes, what DK calls churchmen or any of the world religions, these ideas normally receive a far too literal and therefore misleading interpretation. He says this has been responsible for the misery in the world, and the scientific method safeguards the scientists from this type of error. We need to keep this in mind as we move forward with Meditation 5. Then,
part of my task within my ashram is to train disciples to recognize the new emerging ideas and translate them into concepts which will condition human thinking in the cycle just ahead. The second stage of this training involves the cultivation of a correct sense of timing. This will prevent the disciple from taking precipitative or premature action. It will give the disciple the key to the real meaning of the eternal now, the synthesis of past, present, and future. The disciple will next be taught the art of precipitation, or the mode of conveying these ideas to the minds of the intellectuals of the world. Through these concrete and receptive minds, the presented ideas are transformed into ideals and then are brought to the intention of humanity. The place and the responsibility of the intelligentsia is not yet fully appreciated, nor have they truly shouldered their task or recognized its defined importance. Their work and their presentation of the ideal to the masses of humanity everywhere does not concern the disciple. The disciple's work lies primarily with the advanced pioneering thinker and not with the demanding masses. I would ask you to remember this.
so in using Meditation 5, precipitation is the keynote. And we have the opportunity to learn the art of precipitation, the mode of conveying the impressions, the ideas received to the minds of the intellectuals in the world, using the skill of mental telepathy, activating what's received through soul consciousness, and learning this art of precipitation so that it can be transmitted. These presented ideas. Meditation 5 gives us an opportunity to truly recognize this role. The role of our subjective orientation to receive from the hierarchy. Heike.
Remembering that the purpose for which humanity exists, the objective before the group of world mystics and workers, and the ideal set before the individual aspirant are the same as the individual meditation. The achieving of that focused attention and mental quiet, wherein reality can be contacted, the true and the beautiful can be registered, divine purpose can be recorded, and it becomes possible to transmit to the phenomenal form upon the physical plane the needed energy whereby the subjective realization can be materialized. One, preliminary state of recognition, consideration, and fixed determination. 2, the center of focused thought, polarization, orientation, meditation on theme word, Om, and pause. 3, the recipient of impression, statement of highest idea received, relation of theme to present world opportunity. Write down the first thought, then received. Om, refocus on mental plane. Stage 4, the analyzer of ideas, period of analytic thought. Summarize conclusions practically. Then breathe out the idea into the world of thought. Om. And 5, the transmitter of ideas. Dedication of yourself to service. Pledge yourself to the Master. Say the mantra of unification. The sons of men are one. 6. Intensive work at the time of the full moon along established lines.
So let's consider how we may move forward using meditation 5. In the first week or first month, the word recipient. Next week, we'll look more in depth at what DK gives us in relation to that particular term, in terms of recipient, receptivity, And you might choose to offer something that you have received in following meditation 5. And then we'll move forward along the ascent to the top of the mountaintop as we move forward together, this leading up to the conclave and also through the course of the year. So let us invoke the aid of the hierarchy in opening the hearts of humanity to the birth of the Christ consciousness within. As we continue in this cycle of Capricorn, building towards the full moon, where we will have our intensive work with tolerance, courage, and perseverance, those virtues of the first ray, the third ray, and the seventh ray. Donna, would you sound the great invocation as we close?
From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth.
Thank you all for your service and deep gratitude to Lucid's Trust for the preservation and distribution of the works of Alice Bailey given by Master Dwell Cool, and to all the aspirants, disciples, and initiates who have and continue to think these teachings into the minds of humanity. I think many give short shrift, one would say, to the importance that DK places on this, thinking these teachings into the minds of humanity. And we can do that using meditation 5. Master DK says, in this way, your service is very real. If you haven't yet had an opportunity, please do make an effort to listen to part 3. I was recording it, really the whole thing, and I would love to have it re-recorded with other voices. Gratitude to you all.